This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for Heart Mojo with Melinda Smith. And for those of you who are listening this evening, if you are listening live, here in Northeast Ohio, we had a horrible storm, and poor
We sure
Melinda,
have.
a week ago, she was on the sunny beaches of Florida, and now she's here in a foot of snow and cold
And cold.
and cold, and just getting back and acclimated to being at work as well. So if you hear my voice a little bit more than hers, you'll understand that we're trying to balance things off. But on today's Heart Mojo, we're doing something a little bit different. We have Barbara Rose Brooker on, who is not only the podcaster for the Rant, and the Rant is returning this week. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's an online instructor, and I don't think she's going to mind me to say this, but she's 85 years old. And you know what? She's got a lot of life in her. And I'm so proud to call you my friend, Barbara.
Thank you.
So I know that Melinda had a chance to view Age March 2021.
I did.
And I don't know if you knew this, Melinda, but this was a dream of Barbara's back in the early 2000s. And she started in San Francisco an actual march, correct, Barbara?
Yes, five of them, yes.
She had 5 of them. And the first one was in
2009. Yes. 2012, and then so forth.
So if any of you have either listened to the Rant, been out to agemarch.org, or on YouTube to watch the virtual Age March, one of the things you'll notice is that Barbara is extremely passionate. And sometimes I have to hold her down. She's extremely passionate about age. It's not just a number. Age is how you feel, who you are, and what you do with your life. And I'm really proud of the fact that she says, it's not that I have anything against nips and tucks and facial creams and beauty regimens, but that doesn't identify who you are. What identifies who you are the things that you do. And so tell us a little bit about how you got it all started and why you thought it was that important.
Thank you, Karen, for the introduction. And everybody excuse my voice. It's weird today. So I'm a little hoarse. How it started in 2009. Well, let's say when I published my first novel in the 80s, I was 49 years old. I had just gone to grad school and published a novel. So I'm what you would call one of those late bloomers. Like I'm 85, I never think of the number. I really don't. Everyone else does, but I don't. So I was really taken back when I was told that I couldn't be tenured at the university because I was too old and I was just turning 50. And then when my first novel came out, I was often told by TV stations and everything, don't tell your age, no one wants to hear 50. And all the way through all of my novels, this happened. And then when I had TV options, they would change the character from 60 to 30, that kind of thing. And I was really feeling very invisibilized, if there's such a word, and angry about it. All these little compartments about age. So I thought I'm going to start an age march where everybody at every age, every race, every gender, every sexuality will be celebrating age pride. And everyone will integrate. And the dream is that in generations to come, we won't even have the word ageism. And we won't have the word anti-age for our products. We'll have pro-age. So I gave my first march then in San Francisco. And about 200 people showed up and the press showed up. And that was exciting. Then I gave one in LA and then I gave the rest in San Francisco. And then, as Karen knows, I was on Karen's show and I said, Karen, now we have the COVID, what am I going to do? I've got to have another age march. I can't let it go. I want it to be global. And she said, have a virtual one. And I got 2 Emmy Award winning producers in LA and some celebrities, and they produced this Age March, which is on YouTube, and it's called Age March 2021. Age March 2022 is coming up this year. So all those who join agemarch.org will be in the next virtual march. I have 205,000 views as of today, and this is without promotion. I have almost 2,000 subscribers, and again, without any promotion. So it's going by word of mouth. So everybody out there who has a story to tell about ageism, their experiences with ageism, how they feel about their age, please send the stories to Karen and to myself, and we're going to select them, and they're going to get something fabulous. They're going to get, there's a whole new clothing line of Age March right now. Yeah, they're really quite fabulous. They'll be posted on hopefully soon. Donnie Osborne designed them, Karen, and they're just
wonderful,
fabulous hoodies and things like that. But anyway, that's how it started.
I just joined today, actually, or yesterday, I think.
Yesterday, because I emailed you back. I don't know if you got it. I hope you did.
Well, today was I'm sure I did, but it was a crazy day, as Karen said. I was trying to get to work for half the day and then gave up and worked from home because of the weather here. But I find the topic very interesting because there's, a challenge to that. And my show is always about getting through life's challenges. And being challenged with ageism when you're young isn't any different than doing it when you're older. So I'm going to give you a quick example. I used to work in plastic surgery many moons ago, and I had to lie about my age and be older in order to speak to the people that were coming in. The physician I worked for thought, oh, they're never going to believe you because you're too young. I was in my 20s, so I had to be older. I had to act older. I could never tell anybody how old I was, because I wasn't 30 yet. And now, as I move forward in life, I have the other end. I was looking for jobs this year and ran across the fact that I might just be too old at 60
to get a job. God, you're a baby.
But not in the marketplace, right? In the marketplace, they want you to be 30, 35 years old. There are many jobs that I applied for that wouldn't even consider me if you weren't in your mid-20s to mid-30s.
Did they tell you that?
No, but it's kind of known in the industry, particularly in certain parts of our industry. Now, I work in the senior care industry, interestingly enough. So I work with people 55 and over every day in varying areas of life for assisted living and memory and independent living. So I come across this every day, every single day. It's what I work with.
And do you feel the people you work with are intimidated by this generational ageism, systemic ageism? Do you see it or feel it?
With the staff, you mean?
Well, even the people, the staff, whomever, do they feel limited because of age? Do they feel defined by age?
Well, most of the people that I work with are younger than myself. So I would say that I'm not hearing that from that particular group, but people like me who have positions similar to mine, like in management or marketing, they definitely feel that.
So what do you think you can do about it?
Well, what I've done is just try to do the best I could every day. I don't talk about my age, but I'm very proud of my age, by the way. I'm lucky to be here, cancer survivor, have a lot of other medical issues, and I'm very happy to still be here today. So I I live my life to the best of my ability. I do what I need to do every day. I feel like I'm successful in what I do every day, and that does help. I think having purpose makes a difference. And I
That's,
definitely have purpose in my life.
that's the key. I've always said to longevity. To me, it's purpose at any age. But you said something interesting. You said that you don't talk about your age.
I don't.
So I want to ask you, do you feel that you have to hide your age? I mean, not go around saying, I don't say I'm 85 and blah, 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 blah. I'm doing what I do, but it comes up somehow, always.
Well, I usually don't bring it up. If somebody brings it up or it's in conversation where we're talking about something and I'll make that comment, oh, you weren't probably born yet, because a lot of the people I work with are my children's age or
Yeah.
just slightly older, or still could be my children since I was an older mom. I don't talk about it, but I'm proud of it. So I don't have any problem telling someone how old I am. Of course, when I was in the job market though, I did everything I could to not have a discussion that brought me into an older age group because I wouldn't get a job.
There you go, right there.
It's interesting. Last week I did a podcast with a woman by the name of Annie, and I will be introducing her to both of you. I think she should be on the rant, and she definitely should be on your show, Melinda. But something happened towards the end of that conversation, and I made the comment that I was 71. And she goes, "There's no way." And I said, "Well, I am." And I normally too, I don't necessarily volunteer it, but if somebody were to ask it, but it just came out. But interestingly enough, many people have seen that, have listened to the show, because I've been getting emails all weekend. You're 71. Look what you're doing. Aren't you proud of yourself? And you know what? That made me realize there is a larger group out there, Barbara, who does understand. And I understand why Melinda, over the last couple months, when you were looking for a job, we don't necessarily want to say to somebody, hey, I'm 70, 60, whatever, because they look at you and they'll say, well, how long are you still going to be working? They make assumptions. You're 60, you're going to retire in 5 years. Maybe, maybe not. If I can afford to, and if I can have the lifestyle I want, maybe I'll retire. I have no desire to retire. I love working. And so, but people don't understand that, because our society says at a certain age, you either retire or we're going to force you to retire, because you go on Medicare and you go on Social Security. And at one time, at 65, you were considered old.
Right.
Not today.
No, not today. I don't think so at all. I think we see some trend to go the other way. You can see a little bit of it in magazines. You can, see those little minute changes because the boomers are pushing that.
Exactly. But I still think we have so much to do, because I would like a job right now, besides everything I do, something for income. So, for example, I go online and I look at these jobs that I'm very qualified for. And I fill out all the little boxes and everything. And then it comes, they can't ask for your age, but they can tell by the dates.
They can ask when you graduate high school. They can ask when you graduated college.
Exactly. And I either don't hear a word, or I quickly get, so sorry, we're da, 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 da. So, nobody's going to hire someone at 85. So I'm creating my own jobs. And that's what I think. I think until it's a different world. Purpose, you mentioned, Melissa. For everybody, if you have a dream, I always wanted to write cookbooks, or I always wanted to be a lawyer, or I always wanted this. Go online and do it, and then create your own YouTube or whatever. If you don't know the technology, then get somebody to help you. And we have to fight this thing. And just one more thing, Karen will remember when my novel 9 years ago, one of my novels, The Viagra Diaries, was published, and the protagonist was 70. Her name's Annie, and she's 70. Well, and then HBO bought it. And I was so, oh man, was I excited, wowee. And I signed a contract, blah, blah, blah. They had Goldie Hawn, who was going to play the part, blah, blah, blah. Simon Schuster published it. And the next thing I know is that the character was written, she was 41, I believe. Instead of her brown frizzy hair and her glasses, she was glitzy. But the point and then it fell through after a while. But my point is that ageism is in every profession, every career. Now if I did a show and I said, this is for people 85 up, who do you think is going to click into the show? I actually think it's a great idea because there's so many women and men in their 90s living past 100 who are at home, frustrated. And I'm not talking, I understand that some people, unfortunately and sadly, aren't cognitive or they can't do that. I understand that. I do. But if they can't, the people around them have to also get another attitude. The caretakers and the whole.
Well, and it's interesting when you talk about, memory loss. According to everything that I've read, and Melinda, you're in the field, so you see it daily. Oftentimes it's individuals who are separated from life around them. My mother, when she moved to independent living, where she lived, she had independent, there was assisting, and there was nursing home. And the idea was that if at any time she had to move, it would be very easy to transition her. And luckily she stayed in independent up until the day that she died. But what I loved about where she lived, people of all ages were in and out of there all the time. They kept her vibrant. We all lived out of state, so we didn't get to see her on a regular basis. We called her on the phone. But they had a program there where teenagers came in after school, and my mother had an adopted granddaughter. And then there was somebody who did her shopping who was basically her adopted daughter. So she had this extension of teenage, young adult life. And then she had people who were older than her. She stayed vibrant. And that's how you have purpose. But when we separate people and we don't give them that variety, what do? They sit in front of a TV and just.
It's really interesting. We've talked about this in other circumstances, but historically, up until the last, say, 30 years or so, people could move in with their family and be vibrant and still be part of the family. And there was a value to that. And as we became more of a divorced society, a mobile society, all of that changed. Those dynamics changed. And when that changed, I think people didn't see the value so much in somebody who's older to be a value in their family. And they moved away. And then people died. I mean, people just died earlier. When my grandfather retired and his friends retired, he retired at 65. Almost all of his buddies were gone in 3 years.
Yes.
The average lifespan was 3 years. So he retired in 72 to 73. And now people live much longer, but they're on their own, as you put, Karen, separated. And so you don't have those dynamics anymore. So it makes it hard for people to see that value because they're away from it. Now, I was very close to my grandparents, spent a lot of time with my grandparents. My grandmother lived with us for a year, and my mom with Alzheimer's. My grandmother had Alzheimer's. I would never have not done it any other way. because I wanted her to be part of my life. There was a value in what her knowledge was, what she could give me, what my children were able to experience by having her around. I think that's missing. I think people today aren't looking at the value. And some cultures do, not in the United States, but some cultures do.
Right. I think
they value the seniors in their community.
Yes.
And they do everything they can to include them and keep them active and keep them vibrant in society. We're fighting that here because youth is what it's all about in the United States.
Yeah, that's all they care about, the youth. And to me, it's attitude. Don't you think the attitude in the United States is a little bit antiquated, really? It's not very progressive. Mm-hmm. And all you have to do is watch TV and all the ads that come up, for the products, and all you hear is youth, get rid of this, go back, do this, don't be young. Don't be old.
Don't be old.
Yeah, be young, be young, be young. I find it just reprehensible, and well, not reprehensible. I find it kind of antiquated, really kind of sad. I mean, like we're all supposed to be a product. I mean, all you have to do is look at some of the young women who.
Yeah.
But look at how some of the young women are today. They're not into the products like my generation. Okay. I mean, when I get up in the morning and I take my shower, I put my makeup on. I've done that for at least 50 of my 71 years. Okay. That's how I was programmed. But I work with a lot of young people on the weekend and they don't wear makeup. Everything is natural. It's like, they are who they are.
How old are they? Would you say that
they're in their young 20s?
They're the ones that are great. Yes.
They are just doing it very naturally.
Yes.
And in fact, I wear less makeup on the weekend.
Yes.
Because I'm working with them. And I've never felt as comfortable as I do when I'm with them. Now, if I was going somewhere else, no, I'd have makeup on. Mm-hmm. It's just a weird dynamic.
Well,
but that's my upbringing. Okay.
Well,
and I do it for me.
But it isn't just that. I mean, I used to work in plastic surgery and I am the grandma of medical skincare in Cleveland. I trained with Zeno Baji. I don't know if he's from California in La Jolla. And makeup for me is like wearing clothing. I don't wear a lot of makeup. You can see, but thank you. But I always put something on to protect my skin. Mm-hmm. So it's more, lipstick's kind of one of those things like I always have to have. I don't remember if it was Coco Chanel that said that, but lipstick is always important. But other than that, I don't wear a lot of makeup. I never have.
I do the same thing, but I think what's different, Karen and Melissa, to me, is that women between 40 and 60, the women I know and have observed, especially in LA and also here, they won't go on a date or they won't go on a job interview or to a party without quick getting their fillers and their I mean, if I see more lips.
Their lips.
The lips are so, all you have to do is watch the housewife shows.
You just want to stick them to a wall with those lips.
Right. I mean, I find that sad. I have one very beautiful friend who's in TV. She's only in her early 60s and she's done everything and she's addicted now and is going to do more. And her looks have completely changed. The irony is she looks older now, but
I think by doing those things though, like I will say I've never had anything done and I worked in plastic surgery and I could have.
Great.
Thank you. But I think you're right. I think sometimes it makes them look older because they go too far. They don't look normal. I bet you could pick out 5 female stars who are probably 60-ish in that range, and you look at them and go, oh my God, you ruined your looks.
Absolutely.
You just ruined your looks. You know, there's something beautiful about somebody aging, I think, anyway. I mean, I still want to look good, don't get me wrong, but I think aging there's a gracefulness and something that you've earned. You've earned it,
I think so
right?
too. I think so too. But then again, you're talking about the message that we're getting about age. It's coming through the internet and the TV 24 hours a day. And even the age groups, women who are promoting or writing books about how to be 40 and 50, they close their groups at 60. If you want to be a member of some of their groups, you can't be. So there's all these little groups. There shouldn't be any groups. I don't think. My daughter, who's going to be 60 this year, Susie, she said, Mom, you sound so angry. And when you go on Karen's podcast, you cannot sound angry. Nobody's going to listen to you. That you're just angry about it. But
yeah. And Barbara, I don't think it's so much angry. I think it's that
Passionate. She's passionate.
You are passionate. And I do believe that if we all have that same message, that we need to be who we are and keep evolving, that
purpose,
with purpose, you can't stop me at 49 and say, now you got to go on to a different group. We need to evolve together. I want to evolve with the 20-year-olds. I want to learn from them. Mm-hmm. And if I can teach them something, and again, that's what I do on the weekend. And when I first started the job, I thought, these young kids, they're not going to listen to me. And the interesting thing is that they do, but I listen to them. I get feedback from them. And, it's wonderful. I bring it back, I bring it back home. It's helped me communicate with my son better. Mm-hmm. So ageism is about really bringing us all together.
I love the age together. Own your age and age together. And you know why they respond to you, Karen? Because you accept yourself. You have purpose. You're doing incredible things. You're not thinking, oh, I'm 71. I'm frustrated at 85 because there's so much more I want to do. And it's really hard sometimes to get people to go with you to do it because they think, oh, she's not going to be here that long. So forth and so on. Look at Betty White.
I loved Betty White. It was such a shame. Today's her birthday.
Yes.
What a perfect day to be doing this show.
She endorsed my first Age March. It's on my
wonderful.
I'm very proud of that. She's the most wonderful, wonderful person, but I use her as an example. Everyone is not fortunate enough to be her age and be beautiful and healthy and have this incredible career. That's true. But she had that sense of self and attitude and joy, and she didn't let the number keep her back. And I think if we could all do that, and if we can help those who don't feel that way, how can we help other women who, I have friends who said, don't ever, ever, ever ask me to be on your podcast and talk about age, ever. I will lose my job. I won't get, I don't want him to find out, whomever they're dating. That brings in the single sites. I told you I went on, Karen, on Silver Singles, whatever, and I put my real age, nothing. Zilch, zero, zilch. Now, if I go on and I put one of my airbrush press pictures and lie, I'll probably get a few jerks to come on.
But
that's also the thing that people do today. They can airbrush everything. Yeah. So they take these pictures and they post them on Facebook, right? They're doing selfies, but then they fix everything. I am very proud that my videos are all natural. My pictures, whatever you see, that's what you get. When I used to do fitness coaching, I would be on there sweaty and no makeup, and because that was the real me, and that's what I was going through. And that's how we got to this podcast, the Heart Mojo, anyway, was because it was about being me and helping someone else, and my having purpose as I went through my cancer journey. to help other people.
You're a wonderful, wonderful example. You're beautiful, but you're
Oh.
natural looking. And I'm a cancer survivor too, and very proud of it. So I congratulate you on that.
Congratulations for you too.
Believe me. But I just think it's incredible what you're doing, and that you're a spokeswoman for what you're doing. Now, I think that every woman from whatever age should be talking to you right now, because she could say, okay, well, I don't look like her and I'm this and that. That's not what you're talking about. You're talking, you really reflect an inner confidence and joy. And I think that's what we all need. And so do you, Karen.
Well, and that's what we're all doing together. And that's what your Age March has brought people together. And I've met a number of the people, not just that were on the last one, but quite a few that have registered. And
thank you, Karen. You know, really, when I leave the planet, I'm leaving Age March too.
But to all of Melinda's listeners, you know, this has been a very long journey for Barbara. I want to recommend that if you haven't read the book, there's 2 books I want you all to go out and read. They're on Kindle if you want. I want you to read the Viagra Diaries, because you're going to sit there, you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to fall in love with Annie, you're going to feel sorry for Annie, and I think you're going to find a little bit of Barbara in Annie, and then love sometimes, because as we are moving forward in our ages, we all want somebody there for us. And not all of us, you know, have a spouse, have a significant other. And there are women and men who are dating in their 80s and 90s and at 100. And when you read these 2 books, that's what made me fall in love with Barbara. It was like, oh my gosh, this really is happening all around me. You know, I've been married 38 years. I've been walking around with blinders on, but it reminded me of a story with my mother. And right after my father passed away, one of my father's cousins called my mother up and asked my mother out to dinner. His wife had been gone about a year. My mother called me and she said, I don't know what to do. He's a friend. He's a cousin. I don't want any more men in my life, but I want to go out for a nice dinner. So I said, well, go out for a nice dinner. So she accepted. She went out for dinner. Well, he didn't want to be alone anymore. His wife had catered to him for years. He saw my mother had catered to my father. So after dinner, he walks her to the door and he tries to invite himself in. And she says, no, I would prefer not. And he said, why? He said, I thought we got along so well. Maybe someday we'll get married. And with that, my mother started yelling, fire, and all of her neighbors came running out of their apartment. And when she told me the story, I said, Mom, why? And she said, he's a nice guy, but no other man is ever going to touch me. And then I read Viagra Diaries and
Sex
like, oh my gosh, you know, my mother should have read those books. Maybe she would have had a little bit of a good time.
Let me tell you, assisted living, there's plenty of things that go on in assisted living.
I love it. I love it.
That's what I hear. I think it's great. I do have 2 new books coming out. They probably won't be out till 2024. So if I'm not here,
You'll be here.
Stop.
that's what everyone my age says, you know. But you 2, I mean, what you're basically saying is the premise of Age March, which is feel good about who you are, accept who you are. I mean, it's not always easy. I don't go around going all day long thinking I'm so fabulous. I go, whoop.
Yeah.
But, you know, believe in yourself, believe in what you do. And if you have an old dream, take it out and do it. And then help those who maybe don't have your moxie at a certain age. Help them get help. A lot of people I've noticed in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, women are very kind of hidden. They're congregated into little cubbies, kind of. I'm too old for this, or they're not going to want me, or it's too late. I hear that one a lot. It's too late.
Well, I think women are much harder on themselves, obviously, with aging than men. Men still think they're hot, no matter how old they are, no matter how big they are, they're hot. Women could be gorgeous and never think that they are, or never work for their strengths that they have. Maybe someone may not have, the best body, maybe they're a little heavy, but they can work out a way to feel good about themselves. I think that's something that the young people also have done. The younger people is accepted their bodies much differently than we were brought up to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's a different world.
Yeah, they understand that, you are who you are and you need to own who you are.
And don't be age appropriate, for God's sakes.
Oh, absolutely not. In fact, I'm going to be doing a show with this Annie, the Ascension stylist, and she talks about that. Okay. Your style is you. It has nothing to do with what you're being told a 50-year-old should wear or an 80-year-old should wear. And I'm really excited to do it with her because there have been times that I've thought, is that appropriate? And it's like, you know what? I like it. I'm going to wear it and I'm going to do it.
As long as it's complimentary, I think.
That's
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
mean, I have to tell you, I took a leap of faith. I wore a 2-piece bathing suit this time when I went to Florida. I have not worn one since before my cancer.
That's amazing.
So it was a big deal for me to do that. And I even posted a picture, not like this, like this type of thing, just a picture out on the. But it took a lot to do that because I am at that point where it's like, oh, should I just stick to that 1-piece bathing suit? And it makes me think of my grandma.
Yeah.
So I decided that I was not going to do that this year.
Yeah, I think that's a real good step. You're inspiring me now.
It wasn't a crazy, little skinny suit, but it was appropriate, I think. But it was a 2-piece. That was a big deal for me. I know it sounds crazy. There's probably somebody watching this going, are you kidding me? I wear a 2-piece all the time. It doesn't. But in my mind, I had hit a point. I'd had breast surgery, from my cancer because I had breast cancer. And I was older and it's that, okay, well, I'm going to just relegate to that one style. No, I've changed my mind.
I think what Melissa said too about your lipstick and, whatever makeup you like or light, we all do. Karen does, I wear makeup too, light, but makeup. You just have to, whatever pleases you. It doesn't matter what age you're at, except don't get the big lips when you're, I can't stand those big, huge lips. And then the bones go out to here from the filler.
Well, they put implants in there.
Right. Well, we'll talk about that on another show.
That's another show.
Right. But I want to thank you for being with us, Barbara. I'm looking
Thank you. And it's
thank you, Barbara.
Meeting Melissa too.
And on Thursday, we will record The Rant. You are coming back once a month and we'll have other topics going on. And I'm sure that we'll probably invite Melinda on because I'm sure she has more to tell us about, what's going on in those assisted living
and independent living.
That could be very interesting.
We'll come back. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we want to wish everybody a great day. Stay warm wherever you are, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you so much, Barbara.
Bye.
Bye.